Mark. I'm from Northeast Florida.
Okay.
I'm a nurse here in the Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia area. And the question was asked, do I think things are better now than they were 50 years ago? It's a very good question. And my answer is I believe things are better in some ways, and in other ways, definitely it's become harder for African Americans in America.
Okay.
I think that before integration, definitely we as African Americans had to depend on each other, and we had to develop strengths in our own community and support each other. And with integration, definitely there's been a falling away of black business ownership. The black economy is definitely in peril, and opportunities for African Americans, especially African American entrepreneurs, are becoming fewer and more scarce. So in a way, we definitely got access, and we've seen growth in areas we never could think of 50 years ago. But if we're not careful, I think we may find ourselves slipping back into some of the negatives that we experienced 50 years ago.
Like, a lot of people think, when we ask them that question, they say, okay, yeah, things are better because we got a black president.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you know.
Exactly.
And so what do you have to say to those people?
To those people, I would say that you are right in the sense that definitely things have changed. We have more opportunities, as I said before. Things are better in certain areas, but we can't just glee over the fact that we have a black president, glee over the fact that we've made strides in certain areas until we've made strides in all areas. So I think that as black people, we have to make sure that we don't sell the dream for a couple of nickels, that we don't allow just a couple of inroads to solidify change.
Wow.
Change is still ever present, change is still ever happening. We see that with Ferguson, we see that with the Trayvon Martin case, we see that with the Rice case in New York City. We see it still, even in your own workplace, wherever you may be, even in your own communities, wherever you may be, there still is this element of racism and separatism, and this element that we are not all created equal. And so every day I believe it's going to be a struggle, and until we actually can, as Americans, in our own mind, in our own hearts, in our own homes, really honestly, truly hold those ideals, we're not going to see the change that we need. So that's something that has to take place on a social scale. That's also something that needs to take place on a personal scale. So, it doesn't really do us any good to have public policy and have laws and referendums, to make changes if people are not changing their attitudes, their ideals, their opinions, and their lifestyles. Definitely, if you look at the 30-something, 40-something-year-old Caucasian population, I would say a lot more of them are very open to acceptance. But there is this strange resurgence of the 20-something-year-olds that are looking at the lives that their grandparents, maybe great-grandparents lived, and seeing that, maybe that was a better time. So, I think we just need to continue to push forward, to continue to reach higher. It's not a time to get slack or lazy or comfortable, but it's a time for us to definitely continue to work harder and make sure that it's not just about African Americans achieving their dreams and moving forward, but America as a whole, everybody, from the smallest man to the greatest man.
All right then. Now, tell the audience where we are right now.
We're actually at American Beach and American Beach, Florida. We're actually at American Beach near Amelia Island, Fernandina Beach, Florida. This is historically, nationally, the first African American beach. It was started by I believe
Abraham Lincoln
Lewis.
Yes,
exactly.
Indeed.
And his granddaughter, his great-granddaughter, I believe, carried on his legacy here.
The Beach Lady.
The Beach Lady, exactly.
Yes.
And so I bring my family here, and we come here for two reasons. One, because it's just such a beautiful place, but two, also because of the historical significance.
Okay.
That this once, definitely was a place that African Americans could find haven and safety and could relax and enjoy themselves.
Talking about over 50 years ago.
Over 50 years ago.
As compared to now.
As compared to now.
So talk about now.
So now, since, and this is exactly what we were talking about earlier, You know, 50 years ago, this would have been a bustling area.
On a
Lots of
Sunday?
businesses. On a Sunday.
Sunday.
There would have been jazz artists. There would have been famous people. There would have been cars everywhere. There would have been people dancing in the streets, having a wonderful time. Homes being built. You know, you would see a lot of activity in this area. And now, you know, now that we have access to so much of the other island, you know, areas, you don't see it. You see, you know, destruction. You see demolition. You see, you know, blight. And we don't see that economic activity. We don't see that support. That the same resemblance of what it was 50 years ago. So, and I think this is definitely a picture of Black America.
Woo.
I think this definitely is a resemblance of Black America. Yeah, we have access to all these other areas, and things have gotten better in some aspects. But you know, even though me and my wife now don't have to drive down the street and walk down the street, or we don't have to ride with 5 other families or worry about police harassing us per se,
Or
you know,
choking us to death.
choking us to death, you know. But we still look at what we lost.
Yeah,
Yes.
You
yeah,
know, we
yeah.
lost it.
Yeah,
and we're not getting it back. So
just straight up, when I approach you, I mean, you just came off like, hey, this is a good relationship.
exactly.
And what was your feeling when I approached you? Because some people nowadays, they don't even speak to each other anymore.
Exactly. You know, the first thing I saw was, of course, the decal. So I said, "Oh man, they're from Atlanta." You know,
Okay.
Having some family in Atlanta. So I said, you know, hello. There's some friends, some family, maybe, you know, that are in the area. But to talk about people not approaching or talking to each other anymore, you know, it's sad. You know, I think that a part of that is just the world we live in today. You know, with so much happening, you know, the morals, values that people have.
Especially if you watch television in the evening.
Exactly.
People
exactly.
look like me and you doing stuff to each other every day.
Exactly. It's not really a positive image, and I
Wow.
think, you know, a part of that is, you know, it has to be blamed on the media. The other part of it has to be on our acceptance of that one-sided picture.
Yes.
So I think, you know, definitely as African Americans, we have to continue to reach across the aisle to other African Americans, and to continue to embrace each other, no matter, you know, if we're family or not, where we come from, because at the end of the day, you know, divided we fall, united we stand. So, you know, if we're not in it, you know, for each other, then who are we in it for?
How would you like to see a station or a format or a media that gave you good, positive information and proaction steps to become better?
I think that's definitely most needed. I mean, when we look at Black media per se, most of it's dominated with negative connotations of the Black race. They're dominated with lots of values that I don't find, you know, great values to raise my children under. I don't find that information very useful.
And who supports the Black media in the first place?
You know, we do, we do, and then other entities that control it, you know, control what we watch and what we see, and what our image is supposed to be, and kind of project that onto our young people, and we kind of, you know, follow that in some sense. But definitely, I think that a wholesome media outlet that actually has, you know, beneficial news and has the opportunity to enlighten the mind of definitely, especially young African Americans, is very much needed.
All right.
Because there's this cloudiness, you know, that's there. A lot of them are kind of almost, you know, in a sense of being lost, or maybe in a zombie state, you know. And I think there needs to come an awakening to themselves and to their culture, and then there needs to come, you know, I think from that we'll start seeing, you know, a revival, if I could say, within our own communities, and start to see stronger networks built, and see change continue to progress.
All right,
and not
then.
fall by the wayside.
All right then. Well, thank you so very much for sharing on this Super Bowl day.
Super Bowl.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, you know, all of America is doing what they do.
Watching the game, right?
And where are we?
Relaxing,
On the
reflecting, and I guess I think I would say renewing ourselves, our minds, and taking it all in and appreciating.
beach. Yes.
Appreciating what's still here, what's left of American Beach.
Yes.
And you know, my goal and my dream is that one day this place will be as great as it was.
Yes.
You know.
Wow.
It will be as great as it was.
Wow.
You know, and I think that with the right people, the right mindset, definitely it will be.
Uh-huh.
But it's still a beautiful place,
Yes, it is.
despite what we see.
That's
Wow. All right then.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay then. Take care.
Peace, Beyonce.
Peace. Beach. A little rain before the shine. A little rain before the shine. A little rain before the sunshine. Stay tuned. American Beach. And a little rain before the sunshine. You know?
I thought about you a lot of times.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're on American Beach, the historic American Beach.
Right.
Wow. And a lot of stories come from this place.
Oh, yeah.
So the general question was, are things better today or 50 years ago?
It was better because you had a mix of people coming in.
Mm-hmm.
The people who now are basically are the last left over.
Okay.
The peak was during the Dark Ages, I call it Dark Age, during the integration. This was the focus place, popular. Come on, Nick.
Okay. Hold on. How you doing?
All
Hi
right.
there.
Okay. And who we're talking with?
Oh, I'm Zaza, and I just want to know, do you realize that you're on the internet? You and Sue?
No kidding.
Yeah, we see you all the time on the internet.
Walking across the beach.
When we lived down here, we took
Yeah.
some videos of you and Sue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so refreshing to see
Yeah.
both of you. And to be here with you today.
All right. You didn't start as good
Yes.
40 years ago.
The works of Marvin Batch, the Beach Lady, American Beach.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Rain before the sunshine. On the way, on the road to the next place. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the music.
Yeah, man, for reason about it. Sure. About the trials, tribulations, and persecutions. Yes, the persecution, tribulations, and trials. About the trials, tribulations, and persecutions. The persecution, tribulations, and their trials. Babylon took I away from my culture in Africa. Brought I captive to America. About my language, my brother and my sister. What about my mother and my father in Africa? 400 years it's been. 400 years it's been.
Because people had more concern, people had more love, had more understanding for each other, and the family was more together. You know, you got a lot of families now today is not really pulling together. You know, a lot of families are broken apart. But you know, back in the 50s, now that's when I came along. We had to fight for our rights and stuff for what we got today. You know, and in the 50s, now the first thing I noticed that I didn't believe that actually happened. I could understand when the people were sitting at the counters and stuff. They did that here in Savannah. And McCoys and all that, and then was locked up and turned away, wouldn't be served or anything like that. I could understand all that. But like you were saying, when I was coming, I didn't believe it. I heard my mother talking about it, and my father be talking about it. I said, that don't actually happen in this world. In this day and time, that don't happen. But I actually experienced it on a trip to Tallahassee, Florida, one time with some friends of mine. we stopped at, I'm just saying a little story for you, a short story.
Okay.
We stopped at this restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time I ever experienced that type of bigotry in this country. We stopped at the restaurant. Now, I'm looking. Couldn't go in the front.
Mm-hmm.
These people actually made us go around to the back.
Okay.
We'll open the door in the back of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and sit down. They got some even 9 by 10, 9 by 5. There's about a 4 by 4 room where you had to sit down and look through the window and order your food.
Wow.
So at this time, I just wanna. They had a little glass window right there where you can look through and look up front and see the front of the it was a restaurant and it was a lounge and stuff.
Okay.
So I'm looking through the window. I see all this red, beautiful carpet on the floor. All these nice chairs, the beautiful bar there, all the crystal-looking glasses and stuff sitting up. I'm looking through there. Wow, people are actually right. I see. I didn't believe it happens, but it does happen. But like I say, you know, things. It's in a way today. It's a little better. It's a little better. Not much because you know now right now. Well, let me get back to this now for a minute. And one thing I appreciate and I love about my mother when I was growing up because she was the type of person. She was a go-getter. She was down with the struggle because she did do that march in 1963 up in Washington. My mother was there.
Okay.
So every time I see that, they flash back on Martin Luther King when they always show that. I always look at it and think about, you know, my mother was right there in all that. My mother was there. And you know, she believed in the struggle. You know, the struggle now today is trying, you know, we came a long ways, but we haven't come where we fully. That's what I'm saying. We're not there fully.
Now the crafts. I noticed you're doing your craft.
Yeah.
First of all, give us your name and where you're from.
Okay, my name is Michael Henderson, and now I was born in Jamaica.
All right.
Okay, Kingston.
Okay.
I was raised in West Palm Beach, Florida. Now, my mother and my grandmother came on a little island off the coast of Savannah called the Busky Island. All right, my mother and her sister, they left when they left there and they went down to Florida because they had some more kin people down there. And she was traveling. She went to Jamaica, met my father, and then I was born. And that's basically, I'm a cross between the Gullah Geechee culture and the Jamaican,
All right then.
Jamaican culture.
Yes,
so
sir.
I got a lot of culture in
Yes,
me.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, a lot of culture there.
All right.
So,
Now the arts from yesterday. I mean, our people used to make all different things out of this. What do you call it?
this is what we call palmetto palm leaves. Palmetto palm leaves. Now you got all kind of palms. Now you got about 100 varieties of palm. Basically, all of them doesn't grow in the United States. A lot of them grow in different other countries. You know, like Southeast Asia. You know, and Israel, Iraq, all that. Yes, that's where basically the other palms grow. You got the dates, all that. You got the coconut palm. These are palmetto palms.
So how far back does this art go?
This art goes back about to the 1700s, all the way back to 1700s. All right. My great grandfather was slavery. You know, this stuff goes back.
Now the art of it. How do you did you watch somebody? I mean, how does that come about?
This came about. With my uncle, I have an uncle that does handmade baskets out here. He's a real historian too, but he can tell you a lot of stuff. This came about as, you know, I used to watch, now when I was younger, I used to watch my mother and them do this, you know, and make baskets and stuff out of it. Make all kind of stuff, you know, and my grandfather now, he was a wood carver. You know, he used to make furniture, you know, all kind of African designs, really, you know, like kings and masters. He used to do all that.
Okay.
All right. And I sit there and watch him do this, and then, you know, as I got older, I got about 10. I've been doing this since I was about 10. My uncle got me into it. I just sit down and my uncle showed me how to do it.
Wow.
And I dropped it. I dropped it for a while, and I went traveling. And I came back, got back with my uncle, and he got me back in. He said, you know, you need to come down on the river with me sometime, you know. And I came down here, and then they gave us permits, and I got into it and started doing it all over again. So
Wow.
now this is about my 15, 16, 17 year doing it now. You know?
Okay then.
Oh yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you are very talented. And how many different items do you make? I see you got the flour now.
Yeah, I got the flour. Anything you make now, I just do this. My uncle does the basket. He does the baskets out of called sweet grass. I just do this now.
Okay.
Because I have carpal tunnel syndrome. Right now, on my wrist, I can't put too much strain on it. So
Okay.
this is basically about all this, you know, things I can do at the moment with this.
Okay.
Anything you make or any design, you always have to start out with this single one here.
Mhm.
You always have to start out with that. And I make about 15 different things, you know. But these, you know, this is on this little stuff there here that I make right behind you because not to put too much stress on my wrist, you know.
Okay.
There's a lot of other stuff you can make, yeah. Not to put too much stress on my wrist.
All right then. Yes, indeed. So it was nice talking with you.
Okay.
Very creative person. And give us your name once again.
Okay, my name is Michael Henderson.
Okay.
Michael Henderson.
All right then. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
I'm Norman Johnson. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I think things it's getting better, but it ain't all the way there yet.
Okay. Now, why would you say it's getting better?
Because from yesterday and today, things was a little rougher yesterday than it was today.
Okay. You think Eric Gardner would have said that?
I don't know.
You think Eric Gardner would have said that?
I don't know.
You know, we just talking to people and, you know, getting opinions, you know.
Okay.
And we thank you very much for your opinion.
Okay then.
All right then. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, where are we right now?
We downtown Savannah at the River Walk.
Okay then. Thanks for sharing.
All right.
Greetings. How are you?
I'm spectacular.
All right.
How
And
you
what is your
doing?
name?
My name is Tikoa Tafari, and I was born Karen Joan Wolford.
Okay. Now, yesterday and today, you know the question. Is it better or is it worse?
Depending on where
50 years ago.
50 years ago, universally, I feel like things have gotten better because you got access to information. In your local, where you are locally, I was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. 50 years ago, it was better. Now, I couldn't say that. Here in Georgia, I've been here since 2006, and to me, I feel like it's better. I wasn't here 50 years ago. However, I've come here when I was 10 years old, and I've always loved Georgia. And since I'm here as a resident, I love Georgia.
Right.
And I feel like it has a lot of power, a lot of people here, a lot of resources. And not only that, but the land itself is like a vortex, Stone
Wow.
Mountain. So
Wow.
it'll take over, you know.
All right then. Well, so tell us about this transition. I mean, Martin Luther King. You remember when he was here and when he passed and everything? And
I was 3 years old when Dr. Martin, well, actually, I think I was about 4 or 5. It was in 68. I was born in 62, so I was actually 7 years old. We were conscious of the movement, and we were extremely connected. And when he was assassinated, my sister and I, my parents, they cried, and we felt it. And it was a riot in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was really, really bad. And we had a cousin, Gregory Williams. He stood on a police car, as we were told when we were younger, shouting, "Burn, baby, burn." And they was burning stuff down. And it was actually in the city of Cincinnati, Avondale. And that was a predominantly black community. The northern part was Europeans. They were well-to-do, but the southern part was pretty underclass and somewhat impoverished. The thing about it, there was a lot of love, and there was a lot of sisters and brothers that had a connection with the Panthers, the Black Panther Party, along with some of the Garveyites and some of the other black movements, the Hebrew Israelites, along with the black Muslims. We are, you know, like we were the predecessors. We were, you know, experiencing stuff. So we still learning.
Okay.
You know, and at that point in time, you know, we were. Very, you know, saddened by the assassination.
Well, now, tell us about this lunch counter sit-in thing. I mean, knowing what we know now, was that a good idea?
Personally, no. Nationally, yes. Because the governments had to see what the entire country was going to experience with the tyranny that there was, you know, letting happen to, you know, the underclass. Because it wasn't just, you know, black folks who wanted to serve, you know, it was, you know, Europeans too, or what I would say, you know, light-skinned sisters and brothers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they've experienced a lot of, they were outcasts as well. So to, you know, put everything, sum it all up, right now, to me, is the best time and the best place to be on the planet, because I feel like Georgia has a serious, powerful movement, along with some giants that are here. And there's a lot of them that have not, you know, spoken up, you know, and they're very, very, very discreet about the movement. So I feel like when it does happen, and it's going to be something, you know, universal and catastrophic that's going to actually manifest.
Yes.
The ones that know better, they're going to be lighter in body, and they'll be ready.
All right then. So what do you do? What is your art? What is your creativity?
Breathing.
All right. Thank you very much for
All
sharing.
praises. Thank you, Baba.
At least we can breathe.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.